Hey, this is Amazon Jude coming to you from Wyoming, and today's date, oh gosh, I don't even know. It's Monday, and Comey testified in front of Congress again today. And of course, when he got done, he had to run right out to the reporters and smack Trump around a little bit in the news. And, you know, frankly, I think the ones that voted for Trump, we're pretty tired of it. We know now that the Democrats don't care about the American citizens. They don't care about our safety. They don't care about our sovereignty. They don't care about much of anything except for regaining power and trying to unseat the president. That's evident. I don't think it's going to be much of a winning strategy in 2020, but something we do need to address, and that is voter fraud. With all of the rhetoric going on about what's going on in Washington, we still need to address voter fraud. We know now California didn't win like a blue wave. They won. It was called voter harvesting. And they have no way of checking to see if any of those ballots that those guys picked up at people's houses, supposedly, are even real voters. There's no fingerprint on there. There's no driver's license ID number, nothing. So they could have been generated in a warehouse somewhere for all we know. And that would explain how they stole 40 seats in California. The fact remains that if we don't do something about voter fraud, we're not going to win anything in 2020. Because they're already probably generating the ballots. And they'll have them stuffed in, mail trucks and buildings and trunks of cars and airports. All of those ballots that magically appeared weeks after the election. So that's what we need to be getting on our boys about. Today, Mitt Romney and, I think Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney are probably going to try to run in 2020. I won't be voting for him. I can guarantee you that. And I don't think the 65 million Americans that voted for Trump are going to be voting for Paul Ryan or Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is just basically a McCain replacement to give the president shit, to buck him at every turn, to be the maverick. And do you know what maverick means? Lawless one. Okay? That's what John McCain was. They had a little deal on tonight about what a great patriot he was. Blah, 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 blah. I hope the fucker's roasted in hell. You know? I hate to speak ill of the dead, but the man was a bumbling boob. Did you ever catch the video of the way he spoke to women reporters on the plane? He was calling them assholes. He calls his wife a trollop if she has makeup on. Okay, so Cindy McCain, fuck you. You married an asshole. Everybody knows it. And you can live in your delusional world all you want. But us people who know what history is and know how to read, we know he was nothing. He was a fucking traitor. And if he hadn't used his daddy's name, he would have been left in cages like he left the 26 men behind. Okay? And then he got a pardon, or maybe he didn't get a pardon. Who knows? Who cares? The man's gone. Fucking good riddance. On George W. Bush's funeral the other day, that was freaky. Did you see the look on Jeb Bush's face when he looked at whatever Laura Bush was showing to him? And then funny, they all left the country. They're all out of the country right now. Did you know that? The Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, they're all out of the country. Well, what's up with that? Comey's hearing today was another joke. They probably got no more answers. Since we don't have the House anymore, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have said they're not going to fund the border wall. And that's the way it's going to be. So, Mr. President, you have one more choice. You can call your Center for Disease Control and have them classify the caravans and the illegals coming in as a health issue. And then you can call your Army Corps of Engineers and you can have them classify the border as an invasion, which it is, which is what's going on, and you can get the money through the Pentagon, all $25 billion. Let's stop with this penny ante bullshit. 1.3, 1.5, 2 million, 5 million. You want all of it. Fuck it. Let's go for the gusto on it. We're never going to get the wall if we don't get it funded entirely. So I don't know who's telling the president and giving this piss poor advice, but somebody reach over and slap the shit out of him, would ya? Because we want the wall. This is the big ticket for us. This was one of the biggest things that we wanted. That's why we elected Mr. President. That's why we elected you. And to cave in to these Democrats is not going to fly with us. You're going to have to be the tough guy that we know you are. And quit listening to these wallflowers who seem to think they know what we're thinking. The only people that know what we're thinking is you. Go with your gut instincts. That's what we bought, was your gut instincts. Not some idiot that's in Congress, not Mitch McConnell, not Paul Ryan, not any of them. We paid for you. Okay? While we're on the subject of Mitch McConnell, I want to talk to you about his wife, Elaine Choi, and her partner in crime, Ray Martinez, Federal Motor Carriers Association. Neither one of those guys are doing their jobs. We wanted the mandates taken off of our hours of service and these electronic logs. You know, do you realize how thick the books are of us that we already follow to be hazmat carriers? And to add these burdensome regulations on us has just made running a trucking business less appealing to us. We've been doing it for 25 years. We have never had bad accidents. We've never had trucks stolen. We've never had freight stolen. We've never had any of that. Because you know why? Because we're experienced and we know what we're doing. We don't need 18-year-old kids behind the wheels of the trucks. We need our men. Men who know what the fuck they're doing. And we have them. But they're not willing to punch a time clock on their dashboards. And I don't blame them. I don't want to punch a time clock on my dashboard either. And so you need to be getting with Elaine Choi and Ms. Ray Martinez. And the American Trucking Association does not represent us. Okay, they look out for the big guys. And when Obama did his midnight passing of this bullshit, look at the study on that. There was 36 pages on that bill. And I read every one of them. And I took them to our Senator Barrasso, Liz Cheney, and Senator Enzi. And we went through all 36 pages of that. They never followed through on any of the studies on it. They never did any of the studies on it. All of this was based on assumptions that it was going to save 20 minutes a day. If that isn't the most stupidest thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. 20 minutes a day? I spend longer than that talking to my client, my customers, because this is a competitive business. The trucking industry is a competitive business. Don't let anybody tell you different. And if you're not willing to spend time with your customers and make good deals with them, you're going to lose them. And the 36 pages what I went through with Enzi and Barrasso and Cheney showed that. They didn't ask a single owner-operator. They didn't ask a small business. It was a minimum of a company with 100 trucks to 1,000 trucks. There was no owner-operators included in this. And Senator Bebout down in Texas had brought this up on the Senate floor a couple of times. I don't know why nobody's listening to him. And I know that they had 50-something people signed on to it in the House to roll back some of these regulations. And it's dead in the water. And now that the Democrats have stolen the House, nothing's going to change on it. The only way you're going to be able to fix this is by executive order. And Obama didn't mind using his pen and his phone. And I certainly wouldn't mind you using yours. You've got to help us small truckers. We are losing the battle out here. We can't compete and spread the cost for these monstrosities that we're forced to put on our trucks across on our customers because the rates just aren't coming up like that. Big companies can do it because they can spread it out, amongst, 10 or 12 of their customers. We can't. And we constantly have to underbid just to hang on to what we've got. And this is getting serious, Mr. President. These guys are keeping you busy and off your toes, on the backs of your heels over this Russia bullshit. Nobody believes that anymore. Everybody knows that's a lie. Everybody knows that it was Clinton in bed with the Russians. We know she was in bed with the Saudis. We know Obama knew about her bathroom server. We know because he emailed her at least 18 times. You need to get Julian Assange in there and visit with him. You need to meet with him. You will have your eyes opened like you never would believe. The man is a hero. And John Kerry wanted to put him in prison. Hillary wanted to have him killed with a drone. Now, tell me, that means the man is dangerous to them. And that's why you need to visit with him. You need to give Julian Assange a way out. He's been locked up in that embassy for 8 years because he wanted to expose the corruption. And look at all the corruption. You got to look at the man as a hero. And he could blow this thing wide open if you would let him. You also need to declassify those FISA warrants. Just as I know you're waiting for the perfect opportune time, but when it comes, you need to do it because that will really put the nail in their coffins. Okay? And last, it goes back to we want the border wall. We demand that you keep your promise on the border wall. We're not going to leave you if you can't get it done, through Congress. But you can get it done through the Army Corps of Engineers and the Center for Disease Control. That's easy pickings. So who's ever telling you you can't do it that way, they're wrong. You can. It's your right as the President of the United States to protect our borders. So, and I wanted to tell you, thanks for hiring Mick to be your Chief of Staff. I think he is going to be great. I love you, Mick. We love you in Wyoming. We talk about you all the time, because Mick is an old Italian name, Mick. In fact, my favorite lawyer, Harry, his son is named Mick. And that's when I heard, you were going to be Chief of Staff, I was just ecstatic because I think you did a great job of kicking the shit out of Lizzie Warren on her slush fund with the, the C Consumer Protection, whatever it is. You did good there. You took a lot of money out of their pockets. And I've told Trump this in tweets. You want to break the Democrats' back, you find their slush funds. And you get rid of them. And he needs to keep doing that. Department of Justice, they had a nice one going over there. I think Jeff Sessions got rid of that one. Don't be mad at Jeff. He was a Southern gentleman. And Kamala Harris just bullied him. She just bullied him into the ground. I can't stand the bitch myself. I would never vote for her. She's a crooked politician. She's a crooked fucking lawyer. She's got a lot of shit in her closet. Joe Biden, he doesn't have a chance. You know why? Because he's a little pedophile. You ever seen the man? Can't keep his hands off of people's wives or their children. I find that very disturbing at best. Sherrod Brown, he's as close to a moron as you can get. What's the other one? Merkley? Yeah, right. The guy can't even talk right. Anyway, we need some help on this trucking. And we need it now. It'd be a nice Christmas present to have Obama's mandate on the trucking industry ripped up and shit-canned. Thanks for getting rid of Obamacare. We appreciate that. We really, really do. I pay my own private insurance. I wasn't buying into that bullshit because I wasn't gonna have to every month go to the insurance company and say, well, I need a cancer treatment again. Can I get that done? Everything with Obamacare had to be pre-approved. And they fought you every step of the way. I know people who died from cancer because they couldn't get their approvals done. Okay? And I'm glad we paid our own insurance. I think it's bullshit that we can't buy across state lines. I think that needs to be taken care of. I'm glad to see Paul Ryan leaving. I'm glad to see a lot of the other Republicans leaving too. It's no longer the Republican Party that it was. Thank God, them guys had no fucking balls. All they did was lay down and let the Democrats run all over them. So, a word to the wise new Republicans coming into office. If you don't have balls, you're not going to be there very long. Because we're done with the pansy program. We're done being Mr. Nice Guy. I want fighters in offices. I don't want flighters. And the Democrats, as nasty and as vile and as disgusting and cheating and lying and low down as they are, they do one thing, they fight. And they stand together. We could learn something from that. So, anyway, Mr. President, Mick Mulvaney, congratulations. Do the right thing. Get that wall built. And that assures you your 2020 victory. I can guarantee you that. At least from our standpoint here in Wyoming. Walk softly, but carry a big stick.